What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with a preview for a one and done pool for the WGC Mexico. So this is for the very specific one and done pool that I'm in. If you want the full DFS preview, go watch that. I've already done it. So this is the one and done pool. 1,700 entries. I've got 3 of them, $50 buy-in a piece. Last week was absolutely scorched earth. Brutal. We went with Terrell Hatton in every single lineup. Spoiler alert, he missed the cut by 1 stroke, but to miss cut, it's $0. So absolutely scorched. Let's look at our lineups here. These are pretty bad. So we've got our first lineup, $267,000. How bad is this? $15,000 total in 4 weeks. Brutal. Second lineup, Hatton hurt. The last couple weeks have been bad. We had Phil at the Waste Management. That was fine, but getting killed since. And even though we've missed 2 straight cuts in our third lineup, this is still our best shot at this. I'll show you where we stand here. So our first lineup is in 776th, a little better than, top half. Then we've got one in 1420th and 1654th. That last one's damn near last. But this is kind of the meat of the schedule where things are going to really start to get interesting. So just to kind of show you what we're dealing with here, here's my one and done tool on DFS On Demand. They're all available on DFS On Demand. Okay. Actually, I'll show it to you on here because it's a little bit better. The way this pool works is that you get paid out for the season long, and then each of these segments, and then also for the 4 majors plus the Players Championship. So those 5 tournaments. So there's a lot of different ways to win. These first 2 lineups probably do not, they probably don't have a chance to win the season long. The first one definitely doesn't. Our third one, I think, still does. Even taking 2 zeros in a row, a lot of things can happen. There's like a ton of tournaments left, right? There's 28 tournaments left. A lot can happen here. I'm still playing this one as I normally would, which is find the best player each week. Lineup number 1, we've absolutely punted the season long. We are going to go nuts trying to win one of these segments, which we're going to try right here in segment 2, because you get 2 majors in here, or you get the Players Championship, which counts as a major in this pool, and then you get the Masters. So if we destroy segment 2, we have a chance to win segment 2 and win the majors. So we're going to blow through all of our studs on lineup number 1. Lineup number 3, we're going to play normally each week, but we are going to go heavy in segment 2 because there is a lot of money there. If you remember when we did this at the beginning of the year, segment 2 starts here. So it's Mexico through the Players. So here to here, you can see it's got like 3 of the biggest prize pools of the year in it. So we are going to really focus our attention heavily in this section. And then the second one, lineup number 2, we're going to do something interesting with moving forward. We're not going to do it this week. Sorry, bad clicker. We're not going to do it this week, but what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to create a video, and I'm going to map out who we're going to play for the rest of the year right now and kind of see where it stands. I think it's a really good exercise to go through. We don't have to stick with it just in case somebody withdraws or someone doesn't commit to an event, but we're going to go through and we're actually going to put everyone in a spot in a tournament for the rest of the year moving forward. I think it's going to be fun. We're not locking into anything. We can adjust it later, but I think it's going to be a really good practice. So that's my plan for these 3 lineups. Okay. So where does that leave us for this week with the Mexico Championship, WGC, right? If you are a front runner in either a segment or in your tournament or in your season long, and you want to go chalk, your chalk is most certainly going to be Dustin Johnson, right? And actually, let me just take you to this right here. All right. So I've got this sorted by tournament history, which is WGC Mexico. But keep in mind the Club de Golf Chapultepec, which is the course this is going to be played on, was only used last year. The previous editions of this have been at Doral, and this was a WGC Cadillac, if you remember that. So really, if you're looking for tournament history, it's all here, but keep in mind course history is different. So if we look at just 2017 course history, it's only going to be the leaderboard from last year, which is Dustin Johnson, Tommy Fleetwood going 1-2. Okay. So DJ, if I go to my cheat sheet, he's not only the odds-on favorite to win at 16-1, or I'm sorry, 6-1, which is really, really low in a field with this many great players in it. It's an invitational. It's like these are excellent players. The world's best, no cut event, right? So he's 6-1. It's a 65 player field. That probably gives you, his best chance of winning this thing, and he's your defending champion. Like, DJ's the guy. We're gonna have DJ in a lineup. Moving along, I think a lot of these guys would be fine, right? Like Justin Thomas will be fine and probably be highly owned. Oh, which by the way, we should talk about this. I like DJ this week even a little bit more because 28% of the field cannot use him. 6-1, small field, defending champion, and almost 30% of the field cannot use him. Yeah, maybe we should. Justin Thomas, though, I think is going to be popular for those guys who have used him because he's here. Only 16% of the field's used him, so he's pretty available. I'll be interested to see how that plays out. And then I think Fowler will be like a nice little contrarian option because he missed a cut last week, and a quarter of the field's already used him. So Fowler would be on my radar too. I expect Phil to be pretty popular. Good course history. He was driving it all over the place last year, but he was getting in and out of trouble. You can go back and watch the highlights for that. If you're looking for some other options, I think they're there. Bubba's one. Okay, so Bubba did not have a great showing last year, but he has good tournament history. So really, we're just taking into account the type of field that it is, the time of year, the style of the event, no cut, right? Won in his last start, so obviously playing very well. He didn't have a great year last year at all, so no surprise to see that he didn't have success here. I'm wondering if this is just converging trends where he's playing so well, he can kind of turn this around from last year and have a pretty good showing. We will probably use Bubba as well. Tommy Fleetwood is on my radar. I'm actually kind of interested in buying back on Terrell Hatton. Finished 10th last year. I loved him last week, as you saw. I played him in every single lineup. Now he's going to be completely underowned. Nothing really has changed. He's still playing pretty well outside of missing the cut by one number, and he had a good finish here last year. Outside of that, I think some guys that are always overlooked are Ches Reavie. Rafael Cabrera-Bello always plays well in these type of events. And then Pat Perez, big-time birdie maker, which is what you kind of need to be in this type of event to win it with no cut. He's pretty undervalued. So let's actually look at the odds here as well. They're on a huge list that kind of jump off the charts here. But Ricky is a little bit underpriced. You know, he's 16-1 to win. Justin Thomas is 15-1 to win and $1,700 more expensive. Alex Noren always misvalued on DraftKings and in the eye of the public, right? And then here's Brandon Grace. I talked about this a little bit on the DFS video, this high altitude narrative. I think Brandon Grace is pretty interesting as well. All right, so what are we going to do here? Well, I want to play, in my best lineup, I want to play my best guy in this massive prize pool event. So I'm going to take DJ, okay? So we're going to plug Dustin Johnson in here. You can use DJ in every event he tees it up in. I'm willing to use him here as the defending champion with the only year of course history that we have, playing well, and 25% of the field has already used him. I'll burn him here. Lineup number 2, we're kind of in a tricky situation. So probably next week or soon, we're going to go through and we're going to do this entire lineup for the rest of the year. I don't think we can win the season long. I don't want to completely give up on it just in case we snap off a win this week, but I don't think we can win the season long. I kind of want to take someone who is going to be under-owned. So let's see who we could take that might be under-owned here. I liked Tommy Fleetwood, but I don't think I do think he's going to be very popular and not enough of the field has used him yet. I think Ricky is really the contrarian option. He missed the cut. He's been used at a high percentage already. So the only way, like, I don't want to win lineup 2 with chalk because everyone will win with me. I make up no ground on the field. So I'm looking for a guy who has the upside to win and will not be very highly owned. And I think Ricky Fowler fits that mold. Okay. So we're going to take Ricky there. In this final one, which there's no real reason for us to continue segment 1. Like, I should almost not use. I wonder if it would be a better strategy to not burn a pick. That's actually a great question. Would I be better off not burning a player than picking someone and having him win and it not help me for the season long and it doesn't help me for any other segment? Obviously not. I guess we have to plug someone in here, but that's a pretty interesting argument to make. Here I'm going to take a guy that I'm not particularly thrilled about for using for the rest of the year. I'd probably only use him in one other spot. This could come back to bite me in the butt if Bubba has really turned it around and he has a great year, and I could use him at the Travelers in segment 3. This could really come back to bite me. Actually, you know what? We should be smarter about this. Maybe we shouldn't play Bubba this week, just in case he does do that. In case Bubba's really having a good year, we kind of want to be alive in segment 3. So who can we take here? We're looking for someone that we're not going to use at any point the rest of the year. I like Thomas Peters, but I also like pocketing him and saving him for later. Okay, let's take Brandon Grace. So real quick, the narrative on this was Mexico City is at very high altitude. A lot of the Euro guys have more experience playing at altitude. They play in Switzerland. They play in South Africa. Brandon Grace is South African. I imagine he has played at altitude more regularly than a lot of these guys have. Now, whether that turns out to be anything, we're going to find out, right? Or we won't because it's one sample size. But being able to calculate the adjustments is going to be important. A lot of these guys can't get used to the altitude change with their body. They get headaches, stuff like that. Brandon Grace is, he hasn't played much, but, 2 straight cuts. He's played this event a lot. He's played a lot of WGCs. I don't care about using him right now. So this is pretty much a pretty big punt here. Like, I don't really mind if he drops a 0. Well, he's not going to get 0 unless he withdraws or gets DQ'd, right? He'll get some money here. But I don't really care what he gets, but I don't mind burning him now rather than later. Okay, so this is what we're going to go with. I want to hear a couple things from you guys. I want to hear who you're playing this week, and if we should go through lineup number 2 and just preset it for the rest of the year. I think that'll be a really cool exercise. Let me know what you guys think, if it's interesting or not. We'll go through and do that and see what happens. So tweet me, it's at DFS On Demand, or leave a comment below. See ya.